Now we are joined by Niall Ferguson. He is Professor of History at Harvard University. Professor Ferguson, welcome to the 44th St.Gallen Symposium.
Pleasure to be here.
Which role do you think does China play in the recent Crimea crisis? Do you think China stands behind Russia? Or how do you think?
Well, in practice, China's role has been one of studied neutrality. It did not vote. It abstained in the crucial UN Security Council meeting. When I was in Beijing a few weeks ago, however, I was struck by how much pro-Russian sentiment I heard. And I think it's the case that, on balance, Beijing leans in the direction of Moscow in this case. That may just be that it leans in the direction of the stronger side in a conflict, or it may be that the Chinese leadership fundamentally agrees with at least some of the arguments that President Putin has been making.
This year's topic here at the St.Gallen Symposium is the clash of generations. How important do you consider the relationship between professors and students? What can they learn from each other?
The whole idea behind a university is that students come to learn from these old people called professors who are notionally wiser, if only because they're older, than the students. In reality, of course, what happens at university is that the students learn from one another and the professors are a kind of distraction from this much more enjoyable activity. My own experience has been that I've learnt as much from my students as they have from me, maybe more. And this is one of the little secrets about academic life. You think that we're here to teach you. Actually, we're learning from you.
What has history shown? Has there been more constructive or more disruptive clash of generations? Has the young generation learned from the older, or did the world need to be reinvented over again?
Generational conflict is one of the recurrent themes of history, although it only really flares up now and then. Think, for example, of the late 1960s, which saw extraordinary generational conflict between the young and the old all over the world, from the campuses of European universities to the cities of China. My own sense is that we're in a rather different era right now, in which the younger generation is having to reassess its own interests and finds itself in the odd position of losing out as the baby boomers spend their way into a comfortable retirement. The trouble is that young people kind of expect to have the politics and sometimes even the clothes of the late 1960s. The sort of default setting of student politics is 1968. So it's quite hard for young people to take what might be more conservative positions. That's uncool. Right now, generational conflict is therefore on hold because the young are, I think, a little bit unable to admit that politically they should be more on the right than on the left, especially on the key fiscal issues that face us.
Professor Ferguson, thank you very much for providing us with your insights, and we hope you enjoy your stay here at the St.Gallen Symposium.
Thanks very much indeed.